Hi folks, and welcome to, as promised, our full review of Sling TV. Now if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out our videos from last week. We actually published 2 of them on Thursday, and they cover some of the current news on Sling TV, as well as a deeper dive into the various channel lineups, add-ons, and other extras you can choose from. And in this video, we're going to pull it all together, spend some time talking about what it's like to actually use the service, and more. If you've been eyeing a live TV streaming service, either as a first-time user or someone looking to switch things up a bit, we hope this one's useful to you. This is the Cord Cutters News review of Sling TV. Pricing and plans. Okay, before we get into pricing and plans, a quick reminder again that one of those videos last week went into more detail about, yes, pricing and plans, including a lot of the add-ons and extra features you can tack onto your account. So if you're looking for a deeper look at those pricing and plans, I'd highly recommend checking that video out as well. We'll have a link to both videos down below in the video description and probably up in the corner here too. Alright, with all that being said, here's a quick overview of Sling TV's current lineups. Now, as we went over last week, Sling currently offers 2 distinct packages. One's called Sling Blue and the other is known as Sling Orange. And while some of the available channels in each package kind of overlap, there are options unique to one package or the other. So it's worth going over the full lineup to see if one fits your interest more than the other. Each one costs $30 per month, although you can select both for a discounted price of $45 per month. And if you're looking at those prices and thinking, hey, that's significantly cheaper than what YouTube TV or Fubo TV or Hulu with Live are currently asking for, well, you're right, it is cheaper. Those other services are charging around $65 per month at the moment following some recent price hikes. And if you're also thinking to yourself, all right, but what's the catch? Well, the catch is, for the most part, local channels. Now, in a few select areas, Sling does offer access to some Fox and NBC affiliates, for example, but on the whole, it lacks full local channel access that other competitors offer, or at least come closer to offering. To get around that, you can rely on an over-the-air antenna to access those local channels, but of course that depends on your geographic location and the signal strength you're able to achieve from your area. And if you want a bit of integration between those OTA channels and your live TV streaming service, Sling does offer the Air TV line of devices, including tuners and OTA DVRs. Those can, for example, integrate guide info so you can view both OTA and streaming channel schedules in one grid. The Air TV Anywhere DVR, which we reviewed earlier this year, can also record local OTA content, and the Sling app can integrate those recordings with your cloud-based DVR recordings as well. And we'll get into how that works a bit later. But to sum up, Sling's 2 main packages ring in at $30 per month each, or $45 per month together. And you can tack on some initial hardware costs if you want to integrate local content via Air TV devices. And speaking of price, it's also worth mentioning that Sling did announce a price guarantee earlier this year, around the same time as other streaming services were implementing price hikes. In short, the company said it's committed to not raising prices for existing customers who signed on by August 1st, 2020 for a full year. In other words, August of 2021. Now, that does not necessarily guarantee pricing freezes for customers that have signed on since August 1st of 2020, but it is a big part of the company's current price advantage message, so we wanted to make sure you were aware. Supported devices. Okay, once again we went into a bit more detail on this topic in an earlier video, and yes, once again you can find those links down below in the video description and probably up here as well. But to sum up, here's a quick look at the current list of supported devices for Sling TV. And you'll see many of the big names covered here, though as we mentioned in the earlier video, it's not quite universally available. For example, there's currently no PlayStation app, but overall you have quite a few options to choose from when it comes to Sling TV availability. But device support is one thing. What is it like to actually use Sling TV as your go-to live TV streaming service on some of these platforms? Well, let's find out, shall we? Look and feel. Okay, first, full disclosure, some of the footage you're seeing on this video was captured while using an account provided by Sling TV, but they did not have any external influence on the content of this review. Just want to be clear there. These opinions, of course, remain our own. With that being said, firing up the app is easy enough. Once you've registered and signed in, you'll be greeted with an interface that more or less screams live TV streaming service. You get a main navigation bar up top for items like My TV, the guide, channels, search, and more. The My TV section serves up recommendations including a mix of live, upcoming, and on-demand options, and as the name suggests, you can customize things further by selecting your favorite channels from what's available on your account. Just scroll to the My Channels bar and select the Edit Your Favorite Channels tile to do just that. You'll be presented with a scrollable grid of available channels, and you can add a check mark to the ones you want added to your list. Once you're done, the My Channels bar starts populating with content options available on those preferred channels. And those preferences come in handy in other areas of the app, app, including the guide section. As you might expect, that area shows off current and upcoming live channels in a familiar grid layout. But you can also change the way they're sorted, grouping them into categories or listing them alphabetically. You can also filter the guide to show only, say, premium channels or kid-friendly programming. Although that kid-friendly filter is not foolproof and might let in some more mature animated content, so just be aware. And there's also an option to view only the favorites you selected in the My Channel screen. The Channels menu offers up content in the tile-based view that's become more or less standard practice among streaming services. But again, you can filter this view too based on categories like music, movies, sports, and again, My Channels. And on other versions of the Sling TV app, including say phones and tablets, the layout might be slightly different. So instead of a persistent bar across the top, you'll find those similar sections tucked away in a menu you can call up to switch from one area to another. The basic navigation might be slightly tweaked for those non-TV layouts, but if you've learned your way around one version of the Sling TV app, it shouldn't take too long to get used to the app on other platforms, which is handy if you find yourself switching between devices a lot while you're streaming. And if you're going the Air TV route for your local channels, you'll need an Android or Apple mobile device to set those up. From the Sling app on those devices, you can head to Settings and then select over-the-air channels to start setting up your Air TV device. And one quick user note, if you're having trouble connecting via Wi-Fi with your Air TV device, try the Ethernet option if it's possible. We had more success going that route, at least in our household. In any case, once it's set up and connected, you should see local channels available in your Sling app, including the guide section. And you can select local shows and events to record if you're using the Air TV Anywhere's DVR function. However, while that integration does help alleviate Sling's lack of local channels, there are still some holes, including the search function not including local results. And one more note, we couldn't pause or rewind on those live OTA channels, but those options are generally available for the streaming channels coming directly from Sling. So yes, you can integrate OTA local channels and live local viewing as a Sling TV user, just be aware of some of the limitations that may not be present on other competitors. Wrapping it all up. So where does this all leave us? Well, from a pricing standpoint, Sling's base offerings at least offer a clear price advantage compared to heavy hitters like YouTube TV, Hulu with Live, and Fubo TV. Though if you want an even slimmer, cheaper option, make sure to check out Philo to see if its $20 per month package offers what you need. It is definitely customizable and it's easy to load up your Sling account with enough add-ons and extras to the point where pricing isn't as much of an advantage. And if your streaming needs go beyond just channel lineup, it's definitely worth weighing the standard and optional features, like a cloud DVR that starts at 10 hours. You can upgrade that to 50 hours for $5 per month, but keep in mind that added cost if a larger DVR capacity is important to you. And if you're planning on leaning on OTA access for your local channels, it's probably worth checking out the reception and signal strength in your area if you haven't done so already. If you've got strong, consistent access, then Sling could make for an extremely cost-effective solution, especially if you opt for the handy but not perfect integration that Air TV offers. And so the main takeaway here is that Sling TV's base packages do offer up a price advantage compared to a lot of its competitors, but if your needs and interests stretch beyond what Sling Blue or Sling Orange can offer on their own, then make sure you're factoring in the total final cost when you're considering a live TV streaming service. After all, they're here to cater to your needs, not the other way around. And if you are a current or prior Sling TV user, feel free to describe your experiences with your fellow cord cutters and streamers in the comment section down below. For now though, we thank you for tuning in this week. As always, if you are new to the channel, please do consider clicking the like and or subscribe buttons down below. You'd be joining an active and passionate crowd, and we'd love it if you joined us. Thanks again for tuning in. Take care.